Let's go.
Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked-about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
Good morning, top of the morning. You listen to the Express Yourself Hour. I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you live as we always do. You know how we do it around here. It is nothing but straight talk. That's how we do it. That's how we run this show in sunny California. My co-hosts are the wonderful Mr. Keith Swanson. I think he's on the line or getting on, but Keith is the invisible man. You guys know they've been looking for Keith for the last 3 years, and they keep saying, is he invisible? We don't see him. Well, when we've had function, women were not able to identify him. He speaks out, he talks, and if you just got to recognize his voice and run up and catch him, because there's money on the table, folks, and I'm telling you guys going to break my bank account if we don't hurry up and have somebody to locate Mr. Keith Swanson. I don't know if he's on the line today, but anyway, good morning, Keith. If you're not on, I know you'll jump on. My other co-host is, we call her the Valley Girl, Shawannah Bonet. She's a real estate guru, you guys. She sells everything that's not nailed down or can't come up. She sells property, she lists property, she buys property, she does everything that has to do with housing. Good morning, Shawannah.
Good morning, Doctor.
Great. Well, might as well just start out giving them your phone number so they know how they can get in touch with you, girl.
Yes, come on. You guys have to call me if you're looking to do any type of real estate. If you have any type of real estate questions, I am here to help you. My phone number is get a pen and paper, 818-996-1883, or you can also call me at 818-201-6565. You have both phone numbers. That's 818-996-1883 or 818-201-6565. I'm waiting to hear from you.
Wow, that's right. She's the go-to person. I'm telling you, she can hook you up. Okay. Well, today, folks, Keith will be joining us. I know he likes this topic, but today is a very special day and a very delicate conversation today. We're going to be talking about 5 top reasons most Black women are unmarried. Most Black women. Some statistics say it's 70%. Some say it's 62% that are unmarried. And some say that 40 to 50% of Black women will never be married. Now that's a little disturbing, Shawannah, isn't it? Then that 40 to 50%.
You know what? Those facts are very disturbing. So we need to figure out why. I'm so excited about this conversation.
We got to do something. You know, I was telling someone that I'm thinking of starting like every third Friday or third Thursday or something to bring people together who really want to engage in a conversation with the opposite sex. Because you hear a lot of people say, well, I haven't met anybody. And I said, well, where do you go? Well, I don't to the market. Well, how in the heck you gonna meet somebody? I mean, you can, But what I'm saying is they're not in any social clubs, and don't mention how COVID have shut things down. But even before COVID, Shawannah, people were not going places to meet people. So we really do need that outlet. We really do need to have a third Friday or fourth Friday where people who just interested in meeting people of the opposite sex or however they want to meet, that they need to come. And that's what we're getting ready to put that platform together.
I want to help you with that.
Great.
I want to
Let's
help you
partner
with that.
up with that, okay? Because they can play cards, they can play checkers, they can play domino, they can dance, they can disco, or they just can sit and have a conversation, because people are starving for love. I'm telling you, that's why you see all these people out in the street running fast, cutting in the front of you. People really cutting up when they have that void. People need someone in their life, and I'm not talking about needing someone to go to bed, but I'm talking about you need somebody that you can have a conversation with of the opposite sex. So we're going to hook that up. And we'll have people who want to join that club, because people do need to meet. If there ever was a time that we need to consider meeting and getting married and staying married, it's right now, because times are tough for people who are out here solo, and very few. There's a lot of women and men who really make enough money to sustain themselves and live happy ever after. But I'm telling you, it almost need two incomes. It's going so bad, we may have to practice polygamy around here and have three. We may have to change some rules to the game.
Hey, you went from one to some.
From one to some. Because you know what?
Hey, we're looking for one. Now we'll have some.
Shawannah, it may take some to play these house notes and hits and survive. It may take some, you guys. I'm not trying to open up, start something. I'm not trying to start mess. You know how they, oh, God, I sure wouldn't get back in church with this one, will I? But, folks, we just going to talk about some of those reasons, because as I talk to women and interview them, they're kind of tired of people throwing the conversation out about women, why we not married, like it's our fault. But nobody have brought into the picture, Shawannah. Let's talk about the fact that 51% of black men in America are single. Why they not talking about why men are single? Do you ever hear that conversation?
No, I never hear that conversation, but those facts are a little different. You said 1% of black men?
No, 51%.
Oh, 51. I thought you said
51%.
1%. I'm like, wow.
No, 51% of black men are single. Yeah. They are not married.
You know, Dr. Rosie, I really believe that we are stuck in our ways. We are stuck in our little circle, and we judge men on the men that we know. And it's not the man that we know that we're going to marry, because if we would have married them, we would have been married already. So we do have to expand our circle. We do have to expand who we're hanging around so that we can meet the man that we need in our lives. Because you can meet your best friend if we open up ourselves to that. We got to open up our circle. So I really believe that what you stated earlier, putting together something and having a meeting of the minds, having a singles, like an eHarmony live, we meet in person. And I think that's the best way to do it. So we're going to have to really get together on that, because we do have to expand our people that we know. And then maybe we'll get married.
That's right. Because if you don't go in a place, how will you meet someone? If they just, somebody send someone to knock on your door at your home, are you going to let them in and you don't even know them? I think we're really going to have to look at what does marriage really mean and how does it help us, and define love and marriage in the context that it works for black people. We are not Caucasian clones. And I think that's been a bit of the issue. Go back to way back, where parents would say to their daughter, go to college, get a good education, and find a man to sit you down. Well, why are you going to go to college? Do all the education and go sit down. That didn't make sense. But what she was saying, she noticed that the white women were not working. And she wanted you to grow up and be like the white women. But she didn't factor in the fact that the white woman was not working because she had your mama up, your auntie. She had all them up working, cleaning her house, taking care of her kids. She didn't factor that in. She just wanted you to be like Miss Ann, children. And there's so many factors as we go back that factor into this, and don't think it still does not have its everlasting effect. And one of those, Shawannah, was laws and custom. You know, the 9 black folks, the right to marry, welfare policy. We all remember the movie Claudine, where when you were on welfare, you couldn't have a man in your house, couldn't have a boyfriend, you know, that kind of stuff. That was really powerful. And also we have to look at the prison industrial complex. Oh, my God. It is so many men incarcerated. I used to sing with a group, and when I went to Illinois, Shawannah, I would go to this prison to sing because my sister worked at this prison. We would do gospel singing. And I said to the priest that one day, I said, I have my MasterCard. How much would it cost me to get a few of these out? Those men were so fine. Do you hear me? They were some fine and intelligent men locked behind the wall. So he would always tease my sister. He would always ask her, did I still have my credit card on hold? Because there's still fine men in prison. But that incarceration has really impacted a lot. So it's not only that they're incarcerated. When they get out from incarceration, look at what happens. They slim their chance for wanting to be married and slim the woman's chance for wanting to be married to them. Doesn't mean they're a bad person because they've been incarcerated. No, but it means the system now. They may not be able to get a job. They locked out of work. So all these things, all these fallouts, Shawannah, from the social thing that happened to us, put us in position to decide who should we marry? How much money should he make? Should he be employed? What if he's an entrepreneur? So we have a lot of things to think about when we filter in this thing called marriage, because you got to look at your family who looking at you on the eye if the person is not on a certain job, if he doesn't have a certain profession. So I think we're going to have to choose what we like, what we want, and keep other folks out of our business.
Right. You know, Dr. Rosie, I think a lot of times we're not married too because our culture didn't push marriage. Our culture, when you look at our culture was the single mom taking care of the kids. And I was thinking about my neighbor that lived across the street from me, and was a family. It was a husband and wife, and they had 2 children. And the girl, she was getting to be 28 years old, and it was time for her to get married. And she had a little autism going on, but being around me all the time and teaching her all the positivity that I taught her, she got out of that non-social way of being, and she just blossomed. So once she began blossoming, her parents decided that it was time for her to get married. And what they did was they would go to parties. They actually had parties, and it was a single party. And I'd say, where are you going today? Well, I'm going to go meet my husband at the party. So the party was nothing but single people that was there, and she met one guy. She didn't marry him. That one wasn't the one. And then she went back to the party again, and she met a gentleman, and she married. The mother and the parents meet the other person's parents. They decide, if they have the same vibration, and then they okay the marriage. But we didn't do that. We don't do that type of stuff where we have planned marriages or, pushing our kids to go ahead and get married. We didn't push that. So I think a lot of times that may be why we're single as well, because there was no pushing for marriage. We didn't talk about marriage. We came from single family households. So I think it really matters.
You're right. And a lot of people, can you please mute? Someone need to mute. The other thing you think about, I think a technician can either drop that person. Let me give the number out, and you all can join in a few minutes. It's 310-972-5800. 928-7733. The number to call is 310-928-7733. We're talking about reason most black women are unmarried. Why most black women are unmarried. And Shawannah, you're right, because I see Keith is on too. A lot of people who would get married, not only are their parents not encouraging it, they are discouraging because they're trying to qualify the person based on European standards and want to be Caucasian clone. How much money he makes. Never look at potentials, how much money he makes. What is he doing? When you got this degree, you can't be unequally yoked. That's one word need to be thrown out of our vocabulary about unequally yoked, because how do you define it? Is it we have to make the same amount of money? Do we have the same faith, belief? I mean, it's just so many things that get in the way of women. And stereotypes has a lot to do with it, because it's always the black woman, she's bossy, she's controlling. All these stereotypes for years have had a big part in how men and women view us all over these United States. And we still begin to throw some of those things out, those stereotypes. So let's look at, let me do one thing and then we'll take a call. We'll look at some of the reasons that black women choose not to get married. Some of it is because I've heard many women say, I wanted to protect my children. There's a lot of women now with children want to get married because they want to get a daddy for their children. Okay? Some people get married, they don't even care if it looks like it's not going to work. They just want to have it said that I was married. That's just how much a lot of women want to be married. At least they want to be, even if they didn't stay in it. Sometimes they don't want to get married because they have children, and they don't want to have, they call the stepfather over their children. And I believe economic conditions dictate a lot of this. Either women are not doing well themselves financially, or they're looking for a mate who's doing financial. If he's not, they feel like, well, he can't help me, I can do bad by myself. We also have a low pool to choose from. And why is that? Because of unemployment rate. A lot of men are not working. There are a lot of men who are incarcerated. And there are also women who will never get married because they've been abused themselves, sexually abused, or they have seen their mother or someone very close to them who have been abused in relationships, and they choose not to get married. Now, Keith, you want to chime in? I just mentioned about how many men, 51% of black men are not
54.
married, but no, 54%. And nobody ever talks about, well, why men are not married. They never talk about that percentage. So if 54% of black men are not married and black women choose mostly to marry black men, Keith, right there, you can see the disconnect. If 54% of black men are not married and black women mostly choose a black man because they're actually in black men's space. Because most time they go to school is with black people, they go to church. So if this being the case, why are we questioning why so many black women
it's
are
actually
not
54%.
married?
It's actually 54% of black men have never been married. Okay,
Have never been married.
It's 70. No, it's not 70. It's 67% of black men that are not married. It's 75%. 74% of black women are not married. Okay, the thing is a lower percentage of black women that have never been married. Okay, I think it's 40% of black women. 40 of black women have never been married.
Yeah.
This is because I've been reading a lot of books. Going back, looking at Moynihan, going back and look at Clark and Frazier and Du Bois and about black culture, especially between the black family, right? And this is what we call insert man here. The black community is a de facto what they call matriarchy, and really what I'm learning by talking to all these people that study this stuff, right, is that okay, is that black men are seen as add-on, okay? Because if you look at black women's literature, right, the
Hmm.
definition of a family is a black woman and her children, and then a black man is an addition. So whether he's a
Right.
husband, a
Exactly.
stepfather, was a live-in boyfriend or whatever, um, it's an black man is an addition. This is it's an adaptation of coming out of the the slavery experience, and then Jim Crow, because until I think it was 1940, I think the average lifespan of a black man was 31 years. Okay, so he's gonna die. He's gonna die early or something like this.
Oh,
We disappeared. Because of Jim Crow, and that's 30% of black men. 35% of black men in the South got disappeared. They just went out to work, never came home one day. Okay,
So
and the
we've
body
had
was
a
never found.
history. So
We have a
which
history.
is we have a history of
Mhm.
black women being alone, right?
Being alone. She has to now she has to find a replacement for her husband or a second husband or whatever you want to call it. She's got to find a replacement for him.
Okay.
So
Keith,
go
hold
ahead.
tight and let's take a call.
Okay.
Caller, go ahead. 213.
Caller, I know you want to weigh in on this, so come on, go, unmute and speak up.
Okay, well, you can just chime in when. So, Keith, what we're looking at is a history
Mm-hmm.
of things that have been in a way a blockage
Right.
of
Right.
black
Right.
marriage because, during slavery, if you act like you in love with a woman, they would ship you to another plantation because they didn't bring you over here to fall in love to get married. They brought you over here to be a working hand. So,
And women to be brood mares that you produce more working hands. So,
right. So
Yeah.
I think we have to go back and understand that
mhm.
so we can try to figure out how can we make this thing called marriage institution work. It's not perfect. I mean,
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
who is to say that the man's supposed to be the breadwinner? He's supposed to be maybe the arrangement might be that I'm making more money than he's making.
Mm-hmm.
I can better serve the family by working, and you can better serve the family by rearing the kids and taking them to school. But we fall into a script as to how our marriages and families should be. I think that has a lot to do.
As you get absorbed. Well, this always been the case because you go back and look at W. Du Bois, the Philadelphia Negro. Okay, black man wasn't working, he got put out. Okay, is what it is. Okay, that's what he found out. Okay, black, especially upon what he called the lower classes, the black man didn't have continuous employment, a husband or not, you got to go, son. So, but that is part of the black man being an attachment. The thing is that as you know, when we're in this box, in this crucible, in this cubicle, right under Jim Crow, where you really couldn't move and you had to depend on each other, right? The black woman didn't have nobody else to depend on except herself, her children, and whatever man she could actually find, whether it's a husband, second husband, baby daddy, whatever it was, right? She got to depend on him, right? Okay, in 1961, this is what, because me and a whole bunch of people looked this up. When Monahan's sisters, when you had this separation and had this big increase of out of wedlock births and marriage started to decline in the black community, okay, the black women said it's a better bet to attach myself to the state than attach myself to the man.
In other words, you're saying that the state is more able to take care of me and my children than the man.
And the man is.
Because of the welfare system, who didn't want him to be there.
And it started off as how with Dr. Rose, I don't have to tell you, how culture works, right? Once something starts, okay, it starts to get embedded into the culture. By the time you get to the second, third generation, it's just de facto, right? And what Monahan said, he said if he had known that it was going to get this bad, he would have never said anything. He'd just let it be. Yeah. He said he had no idea it was going to get this bad. He says, I pointed out a problem so we could address it. Okay. That this is a problem and these people are unique to this system. What we're doing to these people is not working. So we have to find a unique solution for this group of people. That's all he was saying, right? And the thing is that the black women said it's a better bet to attach myself to the state than attach myself to the man. And this is, he said, we got in trouble because he pointed out that this is a matriarchy. Even now freely admit, black feminists freely admit this is a matriarchy, okay? A de facto matriarchy inside of what we consider what used to be a patriarchy. It's no longer a patriarchy under the old rules. But and marriage has been declining since the Industrial Revolution, which is another thing. I don't want to make this a dissertation, but what happened is that the crucible that black people were actually, the box that black people were in, that they had to depend on each other. She had to depend on men. She had no choice. So right. Black men and you're from the South, Dr. Rosie.
Right.
Black men and women made, they made a deal. Okay, they made a contract. Okay, we our survival depends on each other. So this is what we're going to do, whether we like each other or not.
Keith, you're absolutely right, because during the plantation time, the white man really, he wanted a man because he could plow and he could do. The right. woman just came along as a package deal,
right.
and she and the children could get out and work the field. But right. we really have to think about, look back and see how all of this started,
Mm-hmm.
and
yeah.
what do we do today? What do we do today? And you look hard. At the children that. I don't know. It's something has to be done if we intend to survive. Let's put it that way. We're going to have to come together. It's going to have
That's really hard.
Yeah.
That's really hard. Because and this is, one day we probably have to sit down and talk about all this, because this is part of not only what black people went through and what black people are going through, but also the whole, what we call this global civilization that we're going through, right? Is because we're moving toward a post-industrial, or actually in a post-industrial civilization. And the way we do marriage doesn't work anymore, right? And it hasn't worked for a long time. It's been decaying for a long time. This is not just us. If you look at the Latinos, right? The Latinos, which is a quote-unquote patriarchal society, right? Supposedly, right?
Right.
Their out-of-wedlock birth rates are 65%. They're closing. They quickly close the gap on what black women are doing. So they're going through the exact same thing we're going through, and they don't have the same background or culture that we do. So this is a broader thing, all right? And white women are coming right up behind it. So what they tried to do in the 1990s. Remember when you probably remember this, Dr. Rosie, in the 1990s, feminists and liberals wanted to wipe out all gender roles. In other words, everybody's equal. You had to get married and figure it out. But the thing is, that gender roles are there for a reason, right? In other words, you don't start being a wife. Shawannah can tell you, you don't start being a wife at 20 or 21. You start learning to be a wife at 3. You start being a husband at 3. Okay, so probably if you get to 25 and you've never been trained to be a husband or trained to be a wife, you put the two together.
Exactly.
It's a recipe for disaster. But that's my take.
But Keith, I think it's really important, you guys, that we, African American, must define how the marriage should work for us. Take yourself out of the equation of mainstream. You just cannot do that. And I think that has been so many of the problems. Many men I talk to, they tell me they're not married because they don't feel that they're economically sound.
That's what they've been
tell
told.
Me that. They say, I can't take that on.
Yeah,
I mean, she has 2 children, or she has 1 child. I don't make enough money. I can barely pay my rent here. But I'm saying, if you can barely pay it there, if you guys, can't you see that if you guys put it together, that you both could live better? But I am told, and let me say this now, Keith, just a few days ago, I was talking to 4 of my nephews.
Mm-hmm.
I said to them, where are you guys' girlfriends? And they looked at me and they said, we don't have one. And I said, why? And you know what came out of all of their mouth based at the same time? We don't have enough money.
Yeah, that's what they're told.
That really did hurt me to hear them say that.
Yeah.
Right.
So now that explains why the men say to me when I do my research, well, I'm not economically sound to take on a family. But what I want to say to them, if you're not economic sound to take on a wife, I'm getting ready to mess up right here. Then Don't be echoing enough sound to be jumping in the bed with women, okay? And if women, the old folks used to say, if you close your legs, I'm going to say that again. If you close your legs and you refuse not having sex with men the way women are doing, I guarantee you there'll be more marriages around here. I don't know how long they'll last now. I'm not telling you they're going to last. But I guarantee if every woman that a man went to and she said, no, I'm not going to have sex, I bet you a ring will get on somebody's finger.
Yeah.
When
you know what?
Say, why buy the cow when you can get the milk free?
In fact, less than free now.
That was the old thing.
No, they paying you now, huh, Keith?
They paying, yes. I'm taking the fifth. But there's a popular video that's been going around for like the past 3 months, right? And it's a teacher, right? She's a middle school teacher, 8th grade teacher, right? And she's asking her students what do they want to be, right? And there's one girl, about 13 years old. She says she wants to be a businesswoman and she wants to be a mother. She said, I want to have 2 kids. And she just says, oh, so you're going to get married? She said, no, I don't want a husband. So the teacher asked why. She said, if I get married, I won't be able to get child support.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
That happens. That definitely happens because she was married once before as well to get that child support. Well, you get child support anyway. You don't get alimony. A lot of people don't get married once they've been married and they were getting alimony as well. They don't get married again.
Yeah.
Because they do want to receive that. And, that's a shame because marriage is, I've never been married. Are we going to talk about that?
Well, really, you might as well have been.
Yeah, you were shacking. I'm going to put your business out there in the street. You were shacking for about 25 years, right?
I know, right? I may as well have been married, but yeah.
Right. At least you had a commitment. But Shawannah, there are women out there who never had that type of commitment to be in a relationship like that because you guys were sharing everything just like you were married, right? Right,
exactly. Yes, we were. But and you know what? It was good team. It was a good team spirit too. When you marry, when you get with the right person, there's team spirit. A lot of times when men think, well, I don't make enough money. When you get together at an early age with a woman that is, you guys are basically alike, you guys can grow an empire together. It's really easy to do that when you guys do it together. But when you do it single, it's a little harder for you to do that. And, really we need to start teaching our children today at this age. Marriage is important. It's not something that we need to overlook like we've been doing all of our lives. We just wasn't taught to get married. So, we need to start teaching marriage and the importance of marriage because it is. It's in the Bible.
Yeah.
You're supposed to get married.
Well, I think what happened, years in the past, Keith, people got married at an early age, so they grew together. They went to school together. They went to college together, But now, since people are waiting longer to get married, then what is actually happening is they wait till they get well established. They've already bought their homes. They already have so much stuff. But now they're looking for somebody to be equalized with them. And back in the day, that's 20. You were considered an old maid if you wasn't married at 21. You guys don't remember that, but I do. So that makes a difference.
Right. Maybe you are. When you get to 30, you're really bad off.
Well, somebody said that once you get 35, if you're not married, what did they say? You was washed up and who was that, Keith? Remember the guy who died and all the women were jumping up and happy?
Oh my God!
Because he was real big on Clubhouse. He said if you're 35, you're not married, you done. You washed up, you used up.
They were not nice to him when he died. I was like, wow.
They celebrate his death. His death.
Oh my God, that was horrible. Horrible.
But Dr. Francis Cress Welsing said that is the age that you should be considering marriage, like about 35 versus young,
Right.
But anyway.
Because now you've lived your life, and a lot of times when you get married at an early age, you don't understand how to communicate with one another, and you learn all of that through those years of being single, how to communicate, how to handle different things. And yes, now I'm ready to settle down in a relationship because you've already been through other relationships that, you value.
Yeah, but you're throwing away.
Man.
But you're throwing away like 85, 90% of your fertility, though. That's the problem with getting married late.
But some of these people don't need no fertility because they don't have time and don't have sense enough to raise these kids. That's why we need a village to really teach that.
We have to. If we don't like the ones that we have, we got to reestablish some kind of gender roles for boys and girls.
Yeah, we do. So, we need to redefine it, Keith. Our roles, our own roles that's going to work for us, our religion that's going to work for us. We need to really undo this whole darn thing and start all over.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way it's going to work because this whatever the feminists were on, they tried to do in 1972 on, it didn't work, right? These untrained people, now if you have two untrained people that haven't been defined as far as what their role is as far as a marriage is, you're gonna have to be 35, 40 and understand who you are and what you're about to actually pick a proper partner, okay? Not a wife or a husband, a partner, okay? That's different. Right. I always tell guys, if she says partner and you want a wife, run the other way, right? Because a partner is significantly different from husband and wife, right? Husband and wife are defined roles, okay? Whether you like them or not. Go ahead.
You do hear that a lot. Oh, this is my partner. Hear that a lot. Yeah. So you're absolutely right. They're not looking at it as a husband or wife. Those who want to chime in, I know you guys out there listen, go ahead and call us. I mean, don't be afraid of who's listening to what you have to say. Call us at 310-928-7733. 310-928-7733. What's your take? We're looking at reason most black women are unmarried. We need to do something about that. We do need to do something about that to save our generation. I'm serious. You can't have all these one incomes out here. The average old person now, Keith, you look at another 10 years, most of them going to be homeless.
Yeah.
And will the kids be able to take them in? No, because right now,
if you have them,
the kids are staying with their parents. So what will the next generation look like? 2 Social Security checks sure feel better than 1.
Yeah, well, do black women really want to be married? That's another question.
Those who say they don't, I'm going to put this out there. Most of them, most black women, I would say 95% of black women want to be married. Even though you hear them say, I don't want to be married. I'm good by myself. That's not deep down inside. I'm sure you will agree, Shawannah. I think most black women want to be married.
I would agree. I mean, oh gosh. I mean, I want to be married now, for sure. I've been asked to be married, but I didn't get married. But I think there's a time in our lives when we want to be married. I can say that. There's a time in our lives when we do want to be married, when we do want to settle down, when we do want to have a partner, because, it means a lot, especially when you're around other people, especially married couples all the time, which I am. And I see it and I'm like, I want that too. And you start to realize that there was something that we missed out on, being that independent. We can't always be independent. We have to. I think it's nice. It's a good thing. And you may be right, Dr. Rosie. We say we don't want to be married,
right? But
we probably do. We crave companionship.
I mean,
we crave togetherness.
Yeah, in this time, in this climate, who wants to go home alone? No one to talk to. And I know they almost died during COVID, because they couldn't get out, no face-to-face. It's just a conversation. It's just a help you can meet each other, the encouragement. And people really need encouragement. Men can encourage their wife. The wives can encourage their husband. And people just long for a companion. I don't care what they say. You hear these women talking, well, I can do bad by myself. I don't care. I'm fancy free. Free to do what? I can go when I want to go and come when where you going? When last time you went out? When last time you took a trip? That's just nothing but talk. So I think women need to get real and stop slapping each other in the hand and try to act like something wrong with the marriage institution, you know. And I think they need to. I mean, if you're doing the work, if you're putting in the time and you're not getting any benefits, I'm going to throw that out there. I'd rather be married and getting the benefit. If it ends 6 years or whatever, at least you did get some benefit. But we're giving up too much without benefits.
Yeah,
I just think it should be some benefit. You know. I want some benefits, okay?
Does it? I mean, really, in this environment, does marriage benefit women? Because that's only something that women can actually answer, because they act like it doesn't.
Well, some women can't benefit because I hate to say this, but there are some women who are not interested in marriage, but they want a child. They want that little cute baby. Girl, look at her. She peed on the couch. Look at her. She stood up. They want that baby. And once they have that baby, they have no other interest in that man. And that is the God knows truth. Because they don't want to have this baby, as they call out of wedlock. Mm-hmm. So I get married. Now I can have me a play toy. I can have something of my own that I can call mine. But in a whole, I think most people want to get married, but I think men are fearful of marriage because of the economic. If we can take this economic piece, this money out the equation, I think we will have more people getting married. Because someone go, well, you make more money than me. A big deal. I mean, the woman hasn't said anything about making more money. A lot of women own their own home, Keith, when a lot of men do not. So then the man got to walk in. Man, you moving into her house. It's this outside stuff, this outside talk.
That's different right there.
Okay, talk about
That's different right there. I'll talk about that because I know I have property and things like that, and I don't want to get married to a man that don't have property and is a business person and to have things, because you don't want to have. And they know how to do it, too. They'll take half your stuff if you guys get a divorce. So you have to protect your stuff.
Oh, you sound like a man, Shawannah.
Whatever.
You know what?
You sound like
That's the problem, right?
Hey,
you
Shawannah,
have to protect yourself.
you think like a man.
That's that independent. That's the independent spirit. But you do. You have to protect your things. There's no way I would let a man in that don't have. They have to come with something. They have to come to the table with something.
But the thing is, in this equality piece, right? Well, we expect men to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It just,
you expect men to do what?
Within this society, expect men to do the same thing.
Do they expect you to have a house if he's going to marry you?
Yeah, they do. Men, believe it or not, men that have things, they do want a woman that have something as well. They do.
Well,
they don't want to go with. They want.
That's the problem right there. Come on, Keith. Here it is. This is the problem right now. You let people get a little
you know
something.
what? I had a guy that I met. I swear to you, and it was something I wasn't interested in him at all, and he was interested in me, and I was not interested in him at all. There was no interest at all.
Okay,
but he told someone that I was going to be his wife, and he told them what I was worth, and he don't know what I'm worth. He just looked me up a little bit, and he tried to figure it out, and. He told me, I'm marrying her.
Was he close?
He had nothing.
Was he close?
No, he wasn't close. No. He wasn't even close. And that's the bad thing.
So he was going to marry you for your stuff. But see,
I said, oh, my God.
This is the other factor. Women who have mean and men who have mean, they're standing all for far. Well, I ain't gonna get married because I don't want her to get what I got. So that's one of the problems right there when we look at the women who are unmarried and the men. Okay,
yeah, it's become that. Yeah, it's become partners. It's a partnership. Yeah,
because I've had women say to me, "Well, I'm not getting married." Multiple women said to me, "I'm not getting married because I have children, and if something happened to me, I want my children to have this house. I don't want no man up in here thinking he gonna get part of it. That's
fair.
one of the dynamics too. But why can't you focus on the fact that maybe you guys can buy another house, or you help the children buy them a house? Why should you miss a loving, wholesome, healthy relationship about stuff that your kids may lose the minute you die? I think we're on the wrong path with this money and stuff. That's why a lot of people lose it.
It's become that. It's become we've gone from wholesome families, or not wholesome, belief in families and structure like that,
about stuff now.
into transaction. It's all transactional now.
All about stuff. It's just total business. I don't want you to get what I got.
And she can get relationship as a service, right? So she can have him come in 2-3 times a week between 12 and 5, and leave before the kids get home. Kids get up.
So nobody want any responsibility. Don't want the
the structure. Yeah, they don't want. Okay, like I think I was listening to Carolyn Mace, right? Marriage, the old 1.0 as we call it, right? Where we had gender roles were built for longevity. Okay. In other words, the you got married to the institution, not necessarily to the person, right?
Okay.
Like before my father died, my mother and father were actually married like 60 years, right? And they had some really rocky times. Trust and believe, I know. But the thing is, they believed in the institution and the sanctity of marriage, not necessarily this person that I'm looking across from, right? That doesn't exist anymore. Now we have to check boxes, and like Shawannah says, I gotta look at your balance sheet before I would consider being in a relationship with you. Okay, but that's partners. So I'm not saying that it's wrong.
I mean, it's not bad because I've worked hard for what I have, and you don't want someone coming in, and you never know what a person's intentions are when they come to you in the very beginning, and you never know. You just never know. So if you're not signing a prenuptial agreement, then, we have a problem. We have to do that. And I'm willing to sign a prenuptial agreement as well. If you have more than what I have, I'm not going to go after what you have either. I want to get married for love, for true love, and whatever we acquire together after the marriage.
Don't bother my
because
house.
I worked hard for my house or any of my property. I worked hard for it. Yes.
You sound like
we can work together.
Like a man. You sound like a man.
I know. I think we have a call from 231. Carla, go ahead. She acting like a man, thinking like a man.
Sound like a man.
Men, now if you think Shawannah is off her rocket, men feel the same way. They get 2 cents and you don't have but 1 cent. They don't want to be bothered with you. I don't want you to get my stuff. Let's take a call right quick. Caller, go ahead. 213. Caller,
213. I know that phone's burning up. Come on, caller.
Yeah, it's men and women like that. Maybe everybody should stay dirty poor shit. People was in love when they didn't have nothing. They were in love. Like I said, all they have is each other. Maybe that's what people are supposed to have, each other.
Like I said, the months I spent in Guatemala, right, and basically looking at people that had zero. Had nothing.
They
zero,
were in love, huh?
They were in love. They respected each other. The women were kind and feminine and supportive of their men, and they had each one of them barely had the clothes on their back.
Was that a low blow? Was that a low blow, Keith?
No, it's not a low blow. No. I'm not saying no. What I'm saying is, okay. Let me unwrap that, right?
I'm very feminine.
I know you are. But the thing is, feminine has nothing to do with your money or the environment that you're in. If you're feminine, you're going to be feminine no matter what, right? I'm not saying. So a lot of women said, I know you've heard this. Okay, I can't be feminine unless the man does this or he has this, or I'm in this kind of position, or I'm in this kind of house or this kind of environment where I don't have to work really hard, right? Okay, and I found that it's not true. Okay, if you're you can be feminine, in a rice paddy. If you're feminine, okay. That has nothing to. That has more to do with your training and how you're raised than it does with how much money you have. Because I have people that have basically I think a couple of guys that I know there's the Ivy Leaguers, right? And one guy, he's an Ivy Leaguer, and he makes like $10 million a year, right? International, he banks in the Cayman Islands, and he's got property all over the world, right? And he says the same thing, right? A lot of women that on his level are not feminine. Okay, it really the more money, sometimes the more money women make, the less feminine they actually got, because they have to be more aggressive, more masculine. Okay, because
wait. Back up. You need to repeat that. You guys need to listen and call in here if you don't agree with that. He's talking about the more money you make, the less feminine you are. I make good money. I know I'm feminine, man. You better get out of here. I don't know what you're talking about.
What I'm saying is, if you look at
my femininity.
What I'm saying, I'm telling you, because I'm not at that level. So I'm talking about the guys that date at that level, right? And this is what they're telling me. Okay, the amount of money that you make has nothing to do with whether the woman is feminine or not, right? It's how she's trained. If she and basically it's harder for a woman to be feminine at that level, because she's got to compete with men. Okay, so she's in that arena. It's hard for her to take that from the job, the stress, and like a friend of mine says, he said pressure is built for shoulders and not hips. Okay, so it's very difficult for a woman to maintain her femininity and be in that arena.
When you have to have your kicking butt boots on all day at work. That's why I say, when you would a loving man who understands, hold this. When you're out there, you kicking butt all day in the workplace, okay? So when you get home, women have to learn how to take them boots off, because you're not in the workplace. It may be hard, but if she can't take it off, then she need a man to say, now look, babe, you home now. You can take the boots off. You can relax. You got to let her know when she's still trying to supervise you, like she's supervising the people at work. Because women tend to do that, and you have to catch yourself and wait a minute. This is my husband. This is my man. Like teachers, they come home trying to teach their husband where they teach them little kindergarten kids. Do this, put this up. Wait a minute, hold up. I'm a grown person.
Yeah. And the thing is this is something that the feminists are trying to re-socialize women into, right? Because they really try to overturn the whole social system. So they train men for what they call supportive roles, right? And what they found out is that the women that need those kind of supportive men that won't be as aggressive and as pushback, will support them. Okay, support them in their masculine stance. Okay, they don't like them. And that's the problem that you're having. These are the elite women. I want to talk about the everyday guys and women. That's a different story. But the thing is, even that's starting to filter down into the what they call the lower classes, the lower earning people.
But they got to change the roles. That's why men who are married to professional women, and you just surprised when you find out Shawannah here, they over there dating somebody on welfare.
Well, yeah, because they need a supportive guy. They don't need.
Wait, you got all this. You have these degrees. You have this big time job. You're driving a Mercedes, and you catch your man over here with somebody with food stamps and on welfare.
Or some guy that they got fresh out of prison. Okay, they can't. It's not.
Here you are a professional. Now somebody just got out of prison, haven't found a job, but they know how to talk. They know how to caress you. They know how to say say the right thing. Say they know how to talk sweet nothing. Folks, that's important. Y'all better learn. We're gonna do a class on talking sweet.
I didn't do off the whole conversation.
No, what I'm saying, Shawannah, you're actually rare. Okay, you've been around a lot of business women. You're actually rare amongst women. You don't find a lot of Shawannahs that can be feminine and be sweet and be nice and kind and still do business. Okay, that's rare.
That is rare. That's her.
Yeah. But you know what? To be honest with you, listening to Keith speak right now, I just love listening to him all the time. So he would probably be the kind of man, maybe,
You can't marry my co-host.
He's intelligent. Keith, are you single? No.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
All right, it looks like we're going to have a wedding on my show. Wait, we just have
yeah,
a day hookup. Come on, we're going to get these people married.
That's all right. I'm going to get them first, ladies. I'm just kidding.
They can't find it.
The thing is, Shawannah, Shawannah, you might write a book about that, you know, especially white women are really having problems with this stuff. How to be powerful, successful, and still keep that, right? How do you keep that? How do you keep that energy? How do you keep your feminine energy? How do you keep that feminine energy, especially with a man that may not make as much as you do? What do you do? How do you keep that?
It doesn't really matter if they make what you make. I think that they just have to come correct, you know. Yeah. Because I know women that marry and the man does not work and the woman is the one that works and they're perfectly happy. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with marrying someone that, you know, possibly don't have what I have. Just as long as we sign a prenuptial agreement, and then anything else that we get together, we start acquiring things together. Because if you marry the right man, you guys can acquire a lot together, especially if he has the knowledge. You know what? You know what I'm saying?
You don't care if he doesn't have much.
Hey, what I'm saying is, you think that, but the thing is, and there are cases where that does work. The thing is, for the vast majority, it doesn't work. You know, there's problems.
They're trying to ascribe to European standard. That's what's wrong with a lot of black folk. Well, you know, he's supposed to bring in the bacon. Yeah. You know, who said so? You guys need to decide what you want. You might just want him to be rested and take care of the house and be ready to pamper you. What are your needs? You might just need pampering. Shit, you make enough money. You're doing everything you want to do. You just might need somebody to be there to do the other things you need. Baby, that's your business. Nobody's business if I do.
and then they have those what I call those comfort guys as a service anyway, right? Okay. If they have a lot of money, they just don't bring him out in public. Because I know a lot of guys that say that. Okay, they say, well, I'm here. She's got this degree. She makes this much money a year and stuff like that. And I see her all the time. I'm having sex with her, and I see her 2-3 times a week. I said, okay. Does she bring you out in public? Do her friends know about you?
Well,
no, you're there as
what they want.
You're there as a service. A call. Go ahead. Yeah, call her.
Caller, go ahead.
Hello. This turns out to be a lot better than I thought. and I agree with the majority of the points. And that Brother Keith, I like the way how you bring that historical part to it. You got to go back to the origins. But anyhow, you know, we talk about how women struggle to be women at home, but that comes from the man. Because a lot of times when he was out there busting his hump, he didn't know how to turn it on and off either. You know? See, that's the thing that we seem to forget. You know, so a lot of the stuff that the women are doing is because of the culture that men created. So the only difference is, instead of him being just the one, she became a part of it all too. So when I hear all of this, and I guess that I'm guilty too, I think part of the problem is when we meet people, we don't have these types of conversations from the beginning. You know, to give you a feel, is this person a keeper? Or is they somebody that you need to just let them go on their way? So once we're able to do that, if that's a person that you're really interested in going further, then you will have a better assessment of if it's worth it or not. I mean, even with the money thing, even with things being nearly equal, that doesn't mean that it's going to work out. The only difference is that you don't have to worry about a person taking you to the cleaners, so to speak. Right. But otherwise than that, you know, I think all of us have to look at ourselves and determine is this something that we really want, and are we willing to do what it takes to get there? I met a married couple, and I'm gonna get off, and they were married for 51 years. I asked them, how are you able to do it? You know what they said? The first 41 years, it was tough. But after that, it became easy. I mean, because, of course, they had their peaks and their valleys. But to me, the reason why I think it stayed that long was because that was what the woman really wanted it. And then she came in at an era where there wasn't hardly any economic mobility for women. Also.
And
so that played a role in the longevity.
You said about 40 years, after 40 years, neither one of them could do anything, so now they can sit in the rocket chair.
Yeah.
I heard a joke one time about that. The man and the wife gets married, and they've been married for 50 years, and they want to know, how did this happen? He says, well, it all started after we got married, and we went on our honeymoon, and we were horseback riding, and the horse would stop on my wife. And she would get off the horse and say, look, stop stopping. And he said, that's one. And she gets back on the horse, and the horse starts trotting again. And the horse just stopped again. And then she said, that's two. And then she gets back on the horse starts trotting again. And on the third time, she got off the horse and shot it dead. And the husband looked at her and said, why would you do that? And she looked at him and said, that's one.
Well said.
But you know what, Tim, the other thing I teach young women to try to get a skill, get education, get a skill, so you can define your style of living and try to get your vocation to meet that. Because I think it's important for women to be able to date or to marry the men they love and the men that love them, and take the money equation out of, we'll have more happy marriages.
I wish that was true.
I mean, when you're rolling like that, you can be with who you want to, because you got the money to buy the house you want. You can buy your own car. Folks, women, I want to tell you, that's what freedom is. That's what calling the shots is.
How do you re-socialize women to actually accept that, though? That's the problem.
You get them there. Shawannah and I we're gonna build some women.
You need a book.
We're gonna build some real women out here who understand the time and the day as to what we must do. Because you can be wealthy alone. There's no fun. Okay.
Yeah.
Ain't no need to lying about it. People, girl, honey, I can buy anything I want. I can go where I want. Does that make you happy?
Yeah.
But you know what?
Go ahead, Shawannah, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, there's a reason why on eHarmony and all these little dating websites that they have questions for you, because they want to match you with someone, that you can talk to, that you can relate to. Because if you can't talk to a person that can't relate to you, then you're in trouble anyway with the relationship.
Absolutely.
So when we do that, we're going to have questions so that people can equally match up with each other. We're going to have a meeting,
right?
So that the single people can get married. It's for the singles, so we can all get married and we can all live happily ever after.
And for those who don't want to get married, and for those who don't want to get married, we want to fix it where at least you can have companion. Because that I remember once my sister and I was at a club, and this man walked up to us and he said, "Are you young ladies married?" And we said, yes. We were not. He said, that's just what I'm looking for, a married woman.
Oh, God.
So bottom line, you might just want
anything except for fun.
Yeah, you might want someone just to have fun with, who want just what you want. A man may say to you, look, I don't want to get married, okay? And you're saying truly that you don't want to get married. So you have met your match. I mean, it could turn out to a marriage you don't know, but you have something in common.
Yep.
So that's what we're looking for. We just got to heal our community. The only way we're going to do that, Keith, is by pulling men and women together who can just reach something and find happiness. You're not happy sitting out there by yourself. You can try to act like it, but it's not. These women are not happy.
You got to redefine the institution, how people come together, how you organize people and get together. If you can't, then it's going to be this mismatch and hodgepodge that we have now. It's chaos.
And if women didn't have church, Keith, I don't know what they would do. They would just go crazy. I don't know what black women
Yeah, it'd
do
be a
if
lot
they
of
didn't have
dead
church.
black men. Dead black men, if that wasn't the case. Like, there's one, okay, there'd be a whole lot of threes walking around out there.
No, it's important. I think when we can face reality about what we want in life, even when you go ahead and get married or in a relationship, if you can face the fact about what your needs are and make your needs known and don't qualify, don't act as if, well, I'm not supposed to be feeling this or I don't want this. Just be for real. That's all.
You know, Dr. Rosie, because I've done this to like a few times, right? Take a person that's single that says they want to be married, and then ask as male or female, what are your qualifications? What do you really want out of that other, right? And look at the looks on their faces and how it gets screwed up, because they half the time they really don't know.
They don't know what they want.
They don't know what they want. Okay, what do you want to look like? What do you want her to act like? How much money she make or not make? Okay, what do you really want her for? Blah blah blah. And basically this whole long list, and they be well, you know. So back in the day, like when my parents got married, do I like you? Are you cute? And that's all they needed. It just got way more complicated now.
But do you think that they need to know what they want now? After a certain age, you have to know what you want.
Even back then, you know.
You can't just be you're cute.
No,
that was when we were kids, younger. We married because we were cute, but then we grew together and we made empires together. You know, that's what we did.
Yeah, back then, 90% of what you needed from a wife as a man, she was already trained to do.
Well,
all you needed was that other 10%.
Yeah, they know how to cook.
Cook, clean, take care.
Take care of the husband.
Take care of the husband, take care of the house, you manage the children, whatever. She was trained to do that. Go ahead, Dr. Rose.
And Keith, back in the day.
I know how to do all that, Keith.
That's why you're a wife.
Right.
You're a wife.
I know how to cook, I know how to clean, and I know how to work. And I know how to take care of my honey.
Now, that's the kind of woman to be looking for. Give out your number, girl.
Okay,
no, she's a wife. Yeah. But you see, you're a wife and not a partner. That's the difference. See, you just described what a wife is versus a partner.
But Shawannah, back in the days, back in the days, a lot of people got married because they didn't want to sin. They wasn't thinking about no love. They didn't want to have sex before marriage. I'm not lying. It's a lot of people back in the day got married because they wanted to live a saved life. They wasn't thinking about that person. They didn't want to have sex.
That's right.
You know. And so
that's right. That's what we were taught.
But now, you know, we in the new day. You got to test the car before you. What is it? Test the car.
Test drive.
You got to do that. But you do have to do that, Doctor.
See, that's what's up. That's the modern. That's the modern marriage. That's the partnership 1.0, right?
You trying to get me?
But what do you think, Chief? Do you have to test it out first, or?
Shawannah, you trying to get me put out?
You don't. Okay, the reason you have to test it out now, the reason you have to do the means test and all that kind of stuff now is because you don't know what you're getting, right? Like when Dr. Rosie can tell you how she was raised, how she was socialized in her community. Dr. Rosie was a wife before she was 13 years old, right?
That's right.
Dr. Rosie could have got married at 15 years old and ran a house, ran a husband, and been a good wife, right?
That's right.
Nowadays, you don't train wives, right? They're partners, they're individuals. You don't know how that person is trained, okay? You don't know what her family's like, how she's trained, what she thinks like, what she thinks about children, how she raises children. You don't know any of that, right? You have to find all that out.
Should really come up. Do you want children? I've counseled people who got married now. Here they're married, and now they arguing about the fact the wife said, well, I don't want to have no kid. You mean to tell me that you guys got married and had not discussed that topic?
Right.
Or you get someone, I don't believe in paying tithe, but you got a wife who's giving 20% of her money.
20%,
now, you guys starting out on a rocky road only because you jumped in the sack. All you did was making love, and there was no conversation. That talking need to come first. The conversation needs to come before the bed. Stroke the mind before the behind. That is really important, you know, and people tend
I think that's friendship. That's how you have to you have to marry your best friend.
You The things you have to, how I counsel guys, right? You have to take the attributes of the woman that will match yours. But first, the thing is, for guys, you have to know yourself first, okay? Because you're acquiring a partner, okay? And if you don't know what you want and who you are, what you need, then how you gonna find a woman that fits your needs?
Right. You gotta qualify because, say, for instance, you have an elderly parent, and you know that one day she may have to come live with you. You guys need to talk about that because he may say straight up, ain't no parents gonna live with us. Folks, you have to throw out every contingency and see how it works because, you just have to do that. More communication needs to take place before you seal that relationship. I mean, some people don't even know methodology, don't even know how a person feel about sex or what they want to do or how they want to do it. I'm throwing that out there because that become an issue. How you going to get married? I'm not saying you need to have sex before you get married, but you sure need to talk about what it is that you want and your methodology. You shouldn't wait to get married and then pull the Bible out talking about the scripture says anything between the husband and wife is undefiled. Y'all can't do that. Men don't know, but that one scripture, okay?
That's the one that's important to us.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But one thing I do want to say, women and men, stop lying. Stop lying about you are comfortable being by yourself. Or I can go and come when I want to. Where you going? And where you coming? Stop lying. Be honest with yourself, and then you will attract what you really want. Because if you keep putting it out there, I don't want no man. I don't want no woman. If you keep putting it out there, you're not going to attract who you want. But if you just wake up and face the fact that I do want a loving relationship, I do want a husband, I do want a wife, you'd be surprised how the attraction.
That's the law of attraction.
That's the law of attraction.
Right. That's the law of attraction.
That's right. All that is in your book.
That's the law of attraction. Right. I stopped saying that, I'm okay traveling by myself. I've been traveling by myself for a while now, and, I'm in Florida right now, and I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore by myself.
Yeah. we just, honesty is the best practice. That's what happened even in relationship. Honesty. Just be honest about it. Don't wait till you get married and then start telling lies. That's what the thing is. Just be yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. If a person can't accept you, what that song said, thank you for letting me be myself.
Yeah, but first thing, the thing is, the first thing you have to do, and I tell guys all the time, you have to know yourself first, all right? Yeah. And what I hear people doing is asking for something, and I said, okay, well, what about you? Okay, what is it about you will actually bring value to that other person? They can't tell you anything. You don't know yourself.
They want all the value. I want you to do this, have this, do this. Okay, what do you bring to the table? That becomes a question.
What can you give that other person? That say you're the one.
Yeah. What can you do for me instead of all what I can do for you? So you guys, the clock on the wall said that's all. This has been an interesting show, and we have a lot. It's going to air again at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and that's 9 p.m. Eastern Time. It's been very interesting, so, next week we have something good too. But women and men, stop the lying and be real with yourself. Go out there and find your wife, find your husband. They are out there. Folks, they're out there. They're waiting for you just like you're waiting for them. All right. Same time next week. You guys have a great one.